Today on our 2018 GMC Acadia, we're going to be installing Roadmaster's Universal High-Powered Diode Wiring Kit, part number RM-154. This diode wiring kit is going to allow you to send signals from your motorhome back to your vehicle's lights. So you can get your left turn signal, right turn signal, stop and tail lamps. And what else is the diodes keep it completely separate and isolated from the wiring on your vehicle, so that way you don't have to worry about any of those signals backfeeding into your vehicle systems. What's great about these is that it's a permanent option that doesn't require any bulky things to be on your vehicle. So it looks factory and it operates like factory. There'll be one diode assembly installed into each circuit. The wiring you'll receive will have a 4-pole flat connector on it. This way you can hook up to your motorhome and send all those signals back there. You could also opt to remove this 4-pole and hook up a 6-pole and get some more options in your vehicle. What's great about this wiring here that's already installed is that you can tap into these signals for installing a braking system. On the end of your 4-pole flat connector, it'll have a dust cap that'll help keep out any dirt and debris, and the little strap can also be used to help keep it tucked up out of the way. Included with your kit, you're going to get a 4-pole to 4-pole connector so you can connect your vehicle to your motorhome. We'll begin our installation here at the back of the vehicle by removing both taillight assemblies. To remove them, you're going to want to pop off the plastic covers that are over our screws. We're just going to use a flat-bladed screwdriver to pop those out. Now we'll remove the 2 screws behind it using a T15 Torx socket. We'll then remove our taillight assembly. This is easiest done using a trim pan remover tool because you'll need to pull straight rearward so you can get it in there and kind of pop it out. To remove the connector, you'll need to first remove the locking tab. So we're going to pop that out. You may need to use your screwdriver to do so, or your trim pan remover tool. Then you'll press in on the release tab here and separate the 2 connectors. We can set this aside now, and we're going to repeat the exact same procedures on the opposite side to remove our other taillight. We'll now use a fish wire to pull our wiring up. We're using a piece of Airline tubing to do this, so we're just going to slide it on down, kind of work it around. Then you can reach underneath and pull it through. Once you've got it pulled through, we can attach our wiring to it and bring it up. Cut the 4-pole connector here off. We'll now take the rest of our wires here. We're going to tape them to our fish wire. We're just using some electrical tape. And we'll just pull our fish wire up. And now we've got our wiring up here behind our taillight. You need to strip back some of the sheathing that covers up your wiring. This is pretty thick cloth material, so it can be a bit difficult. Be careful not to cut yourself when stripping it back. We'll now separate out our wiring. We're going to be cutting the yellow and blue wire and the violet and gray wire. So we're going to snip those. Then we'll strip back each end of the wires we just cut. Now we'll take the wiring that we fed up. We're going to separate each one of these. And we're going to strip back each one of these. We're now going to take the white wire and the brown wire that we fed up. We're going to twist those together and crimp those to the yellow Spade terminal that's attached to one of your diodes. You can just pull it off the diode. It makes it easier to crimp when it's not attached. And then each of our remaining wires we have here, we will be crimping on a blue Spade terminal. Just pull those off of your diodes and just start crimping them on. We'll now take our diodes and we're going to connect them. You'll take the connector side and that's going to plug to your out. We're going to start with our yellow wire. Plug that into the out. The other end of our yellow is going to plug into the in. And the yellow that we ran up is going to plug into the other in. And then our other one, which is our purple wire, we're going to plug the connector side into the out, the vehicle side into the in, and then our yellow Spade terminal to the other end. There's adhesive backing on the back of each diode. I just peeled it off and stuck them together. You can stick them wherever you'd like. There's not a whole lot of room in here, so I opted to do that so I could kind of tuck them down here a little bit, because it's a little tight fit. Now we're going to hook our connector back into our taillight. Make sure you push your locking tab back down, then you can reinstall your taillight assembly. Just line up all your tabs and push it back into place. You can now reinstall the screws and then pop your covers back over them. We'll now take our wiring, we're going to route it across to our passenger side. We'll now take the wire that we ran over. We need to have the green wire and the white wire run up to our taillight assembly there. So we want to just kind of eyeball it, make sure that we've got enough white wire to go up there and make our connections. So it's going to be about there. Snip our white wire and then peel it back. We'll then do our fish wire trick once again to get our wiring fed up to this taillight. Tape it just like we did before. We'll take the sheathing back on this side as well, just like the other side. We'll then cut the gray-brown wire and the green-brown wire, and we'll strip back each end of these wires as well as the wires that we fed up. And if you have a little bit of excess on the wires you fed up, you can go ahead and trim that off before you strip them back. Then take the blue Spade terminals on your remaining diodes and crimp a Spade terminal on each of the wires you just stripped back. We'll take the connector side of the gray-brown wire. We're going to connect that to the out on our diode. We'll connect the in to the white wire that we ran up, and then the other end of our gray and brown wire. We'll then take our other diode. We're going to plug the connector side to the out for the green and brown wire. Then on the inside, we're going to connect the other green and brown wire and the green wire that we ran up. And we can now reinstall this taillight assembly just like we did on the other side. We'll now need to route the rest of our wiring up to the front of our vehicle so we can get into our engine compartment. I'm going to route that wire now, and then I'll show you the path I took to get it there. So we took our wire, we ran it forward, going behind our heat shield here to protect it from the heat from our exhaust. Come up over our rear suspension, zip tying it to factory wiring along the way. We come across here, down by our fuel tank, and we're just zip tying it to the brackets that hold our fuel lines as we get to the front. And once we get up to about here, we're going to need to use a fish wire to get it up to our engine compartment. I've already got that fish wire ran down, so we can pull it back up, tape our end to our fish wire. We'll now pull our fish wire up. Might have to wiggle it around a bit since it does have quite a large end on it. And we'll just feed it all the way up. And then you want to check back down below to make sure that it didn't get caught up on anything and that you do have all the wire pulled up. We'll now take our wire and we're going to route it down up to our base plate so we can make our connections to our motorhome when we're towing. So we took our wiring, we routed it over here alongside our battery. We came down next to our headlight, ran it down next to the washer bottle, ran it over to our base plate. Now you may have your bumper on. The best time to put your wiring in is when you're doing your base plate. So during your base plate installation, you do have to remove the front fascia. While we've got that off, we did our wiring. We'll need to hook up a ground from our wiring to our battery. Now this ground wire needs to make sure that it comes from the 4-pole that's at the front to here. So the rest of the wire that goes back really doesn't need a ground, it doesn't go to anything. So we're going to take the white wire We're going to cut it here. We pulled that wire back, strip back some of the white wire, crimp on the blue ring terminal that comes in your kit. And we'll connect it to our ground right there. We need to remove that nut with a 10mm socket. Slide your ground wire on and reinstall the nut. You can now plug your wiring into your trailer or your tester and verify everything's working properly. You want to make sure that you have your left turn signal, right turn signal, tail lamps, and brake lamps. And with everything working properly, you're ready to button up all your wiring and hit the road. And that completes our installation of Roadmaster's Universal High-Powered Diode Wiring Kit on our 2018 GMC Acadia.